So, Ariana, what are we doing today?
Compound interest?
Okay, so let me show you some magic, okay? Okay, so I'll tell you a story. So once, there was this greedy Raja, okay? And he made his servants work very hard to grow rice. And all that rice was kept in the storehouse. And none of it was given to the servants. All of it was just kept for the Raja for himself, okay? So one day, the Raja was having a feast. And he called all the biggest people in his kingdom to the feast. So he ordered the servants to carry out the rice. And as the servants were carrying out the rice, a lady noticed there was a hole in the bag and she started collecting the rice in her hand. So as she was doing that, the Raja saw her and he said, "You thief! What are you doing collecting all the rice?" And he said, "You thief!" The lady said, "I was just going to give the rice back to you, right?" And the Raja said, "Because of your honesty, I would like to grant you one wish." The lady thought for a moment and said, I would like 1 grain of rice on day 1, 2 grains of rice on day 2, 4 grains of rice on day 3. So she liked 1 rice doubling every day for 30 days. And the Raja smirked and said, "Okay, fine. That's fine with me." Okay, so by the 10th day, the Raja gave her how much rice?
512 grains of rice.
Yeah, so maybe a small handful. Okay, so as the 21st day rolled around, the Raja gave her
1,048,576 grains of rice.
Okay, and by the 30th day, finally, 536,870,912 grains of rice. And by that time, the lady owned all the rice in the kingdom. And this taught the Raja 2 very important lessons. Okay, and that was
don't be greedy, and that compound interest is truly magical.
Yes, so it's truly magical. Okay, let's now go on to another example. Let's say I have $100 and I start a business. What toys do you like?
I'd like Legos.
And let's say I start making something to do with Legos, okay? Let's say that. And by year 1, I make 10% of profit. Okay, 10% of $100 is
10.
Yeah, $10. So we add it to the 100 because that's the original amount. And that will make $110 in year 1. So what could you do with the $10?
You could spend it on cotton candy.
Okay, you could spend it on cotton candy. Or you could
put it back in the business.
Yes, you could put it back in the business. Okay, so you could spend it on cotton candy, put it back in the business. So let's say we put it back in the business. Year 1, we know we made $110 because we had the 10% in profit. So in year 2, if we make 10% on $110, how much did we make?
$21. And then add $100, which would equal to $121.
Why do we add 100?
Because that's the number you started with.
The principal.
That's the present.
Okay.
So then 10% of $121 would equal $33, and then you add 100, which is
the principal.
Yeah, and then it would equal $133.
Okay. So 110, 121, 133. Year 4, we would have 146. Year 5, 161. So if we were to save that money aside, the $10, and not put it back in our business, by year 5, we would have $150. 10 times 5 is 50. We added to the 100, $150. Okay? So by year 10, if we were to reinvest the money into our business, we would have $259. But if we were not to reinvest the money, we would have how much?
$200.
Yes. So the difference is only $59, right? Might not seem like a lot. So we have this chart, and can you explain this to me?
The yellow is profit that was not reinvested, and blue was the one that's reinvested.
So basically, in the first couple years, both of the lines are really close together, and as you go on, the lines sort of separate and go into their own paths. So the yellow line is linear. So that means it would only have 10 plus 10 every year. So it would be a straight line. And the blue line, on the other hand, we can start to see a curve, and this is called the exponential growth. So what's happening today that reminds you of exponential growth?
The pandemic.
Yeah, so basically in the beginning there were very few cases, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as time went on, slowly over time, there were more and more cases. So this was like an exponential growth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we, like humans, find it hard to imagine like exponential growth. Like it's not very easy to comprehend. Like we might not be able to look into the future that much, but we can see this power of compounding over here. So I'll ask you one more question. Would you take $1 million today or 1 penny doubling every day for 31 days? And explain why.
I'd take 1 penny doubling every day for 31 days.
Why?
Even at day 10, you wouldn't see that much of a difference. But once you get to like day 25 or day 20, you'd see much more of a difference.
And you know this is a trick question, right? That's why you chose that one.
Yeah.
But when I saw this question, I chose the $1 million today. So if we want to see how the 1 penny grew, we can see it grew really slowly. By the 20th day, there was only $5,000. Nowhere near 1 million, right? Okay, now what happened here? Magic, right?
From day 1 to day 20, there's not much of a big difference, and it looked like 1 million would be more. But once we went to day 21 to day 31, there was a big difference.
So of course in the real world, we won't be able to double our money like every day. So we can take one real life example of Warren Buffett. So who is he?
He's a famous investor who has a lot of money.
Okay. So he started investing when he was 11 years old, and it took him 44 years to reach $1 billion, okay? And after that, it took him just 33 years to reach $90 billion. So he made $89 billion in 33 years, and he made $1 billion in 44 years. So there we can just see the magic at work, right? So if you want to read more to this, we can go to raisingbuffets.com, and that is where I wrote a lot more about this topic. So that's about it, right? Do you have anything to add?
No.
Are you sure?